Man, what's happening? What is happening? What is happening? What is happening? I'm live. I have the North London Derby on in the background, and apparently I'm now live on YouTube. Hooray! Hope you guys are doing good, though. Hope you're having a lovely Sunday evening. Hi, Joe. Nice to see you, sir. I'm doing very well. Bit tired, to be honest, but not too bad. Can't complain. Oh, good day, guys. Len Morrison's here. Miles is here. Tom Stanley, my man. Long time no talkie. Hope you're doing well, sir. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, my shirt's a bit hanging out there. Sorry, so there's a lot of chest on display. So I'm having a brilliant evening. One Arsene Wenger. Oh boy. And may the chants of beat him down ring loud through North London. I'll send you the blade. Hello, sir. Hope you're doing well, sir. Been keeping yourself busy. What have you been doing, Tom? Keep me posted. Oh, good save from check. Harry Kane was in on goal there. But yeah, talk to me about some stuff. You know, I'm trying not to talk about that, about how shit that Grand Prix was, but but, you know, I think we have to at some point eventually address the elephant in the room here. When that race was crap, and that's you know. So I'm not saying that Sochi isn't a good track, because I think it's got potential, like a lot of tracks do, and like I think like it's had good support class races in the past, but these cars are fundamentally flawed. You can't run them nose to tail, and great save and check there. But so, as I was saying. So as I was saying, I mean, it was not a captivating Grand Prix. C4, that was a cheapie. Yeah, apparently somebody won in the rally by 7 tenths. That's kind of nuts. Well, Arsene Wenger, the tactical genius. It's Channel 4 highlight. Hi, Zoe. Channel 4 highlights is literally Alonso DNS, the first lap of the race, Ricciardo's flaming brake, Hamilton's complaint of overheating, Bottas flat spotting, and him winning. But that was it, really, wasn't it? Like I'd have given the race a solid 3 out of. I think I gave it 3 out of 10. I would have dropped it to a 2 if it wasn't for the actually quite tense finish, which, you know. If the race is 1 lap longer, then it might have actually had an interesting finish. But then I don't know if Bottas was sandbagging the last 2 corners. I don't know. But, I mean, Bottas won by 6 tenths of a second. you'd think that would have meant the race was good, but even with a close finish, this race was an absolute stinker. It kind of says it all, really, doesn't it? Yeah, I get it. I get why Formula One doesn't have ground effects. And the last time they had it, it was the 80s, and the 80s was arguably the most dangerous era of F1 ever. So, yeah, like F1 is scared to go back to that. And to a degree, I understand why. I mean, this is the same sort that has gravel traps everywhere, so cars can flip over, like we saw with Alonso last year. But if you add 5 seconds of topside downforce to a racing car, you're going to naturally be in a situation where you can't pass people. And this is like the worst thing about Formula One right now. Some races can literally be decided after 500 meters. And that's basically what happened today. Bottas got the better start, led through turn 2, and that was it. The race was over. Like, Ferrari had a good race car. And again, they might have had the better race car today. Their pace was fantastic. And strategically, they actually very nearly made it work. But, c'est la vie, as they say. Yeah, IndyCar has ground effect. IndyCars have flat bottoms, and that's why they can run pretty much 3 or 4 wide at 210 miles an hour. I get it. The sport is a lot safer now than it was back then, and I think technology has come forward in such a massive way you probably could make it work. But Formula One, I would say they'd be afraid of opening Pandora's box, but that would be a lie because they've changed the regulations 5 times since the turn of the century. So what can you really do? Yeah, just have to make the points on Twitter. Anyone that I see on Twitter screenshotting this is just getting blocked immediately. That stopped being funny like 2 hangouts ago. Cook, I'm looking at you. I don't care who you are. That's all I will say on that. Yeah, the tyres, again, as well, Tom mentioned it, the tyres were far too good as well in the sense of, like, Nico Hülkenberg went 39 out of 52 laps on the ultra-soft tyre and finished, I think, 8th as a result of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, great drive from Hülkenberg again, but the softest tyre you bring to a weekend can run for 75% of the race distance. It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. Like, you're basically installing you're having a one-stop race before you even get started. Just so, you know, you combine that, a track that it's really hard to overtake around in the first place, that's not conducive to overtaking because it's full of 90-degree corners, and the fact that these cars can't run within 1.3 of each other under normal circumstances, and you're going to have a shit race. Like, it's not totally down to the cars. Pirelli's partly to blame for this one as well because Pirelli made tyres that didn't fall apart. A 2-stopper or a 3-stopper would have been much more entertaining. But because these cars are so fast and these tyres are bigger, you're going to have more grip. You're not going to have as many pit stops. But hey, drivers want a more mechanical grip. Problem is, there's no point in that when you can't run close to another car. So it's all just one infinite feedback loop of shit. So, you know, don't find the replay. You didn't miss much. And yeah, I was shocked that Lewis was so off the pace. Yeah, I mean, you talk about Sochi. I mean, it's a street circuit. I mean, it's a brand new paved road. Paved roads don't. The older tracks are the ones that have bigger tire wear. It's the ones that have newly relayed surfaces like Sochi and Monaco and Singapore, where tires don't degrade. They don't normally degrade on normal roads like they do on rubbered-in tracks. Nature of the beast, really. Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Andrew. They are going to play safe. They are absolutely going to play safe because it's rather that. Yeah, I'm just there's a lot of tweets here. I'm surprised you guys are so active on the chat. I'm just trying to read through them all. But yeah, God, I would not want that race at 7 a.m. Yeah, absolutely. Like, it doesn't really get very much other weekends apart from Sochi. Yes, Kendra? There's 2 remotes downstairs. What does it matter? Anyway. But, you know, well, technically, Tom, they're not leading both championships. Mercedes are 1 point ahead in the constructors, but the fact they are only a point out says it all, really. I mean, and you're right. I mean, if you're in the Ferrari camp, you have to take this race as a positive. I mean, you finished second. You got both cars on the podium. You finished second and third. You both beat Lewis Hamilton, who probably is the bigger threat of the 2 Mercedes drivers. And Vettel was within 0.6 of winning. If that race goes on 1 lap longer, then they might have just had a different result in the end. But you know, it was a solid result for Ferrari. As a Ferrari fan, I'm definitely not complaining. I thought it was a very solid race. And Vettel was able to run closer towards the end, and you know, it's good. It's good. Like I can't complain in the slightest. But Vettel beating +6 on Hamilton coming out of this round again. Yeah, it works. Again, I can't complain. It's some good stuff. Like, I mentioned it on Twitter earlier, but Vettel has won 2 races, has had big chances to win the other 2, has had 2 other second places and a pole position. Can't moan at all. Like we're actually in there right now, and if we can keep this going, maybe taking advantage of more sloppy days from Mercs and getting involved in race wins and whatnot, then maybe they really do have a shot. I don't know. I'm still not entirely convinced, but becoming more and more clear that the Ferrari do have something here, and like they have threatened to win all 4 rounds at some point. Again, China was a bit more of a case of what could have been because of the safety car with Giovinazzi, but you know the other 3 races they've actively either won or had a really good chance of winning. So yeah, it's crazy. It's also kind of crazy seeing that Red Bull are 100 points off the big 2 in the constructors already. So Red Bull are pretty much out of the running already, which is nuts. I mean, Red Bull clearly didn't have that much confidence in their car if they're already thinking, let's bring out a B-spec car for Spain or Monaco or something like that. So, yeah, it's crazy. And give Sage Karen Carpenter's car. Oh God, give people cars in IndyCar now. God, I've not seen a single minute of IndyCar in Phoenix, so I can't really comment on that. I know Simon Pagenaud won. I know that Penske were pretty dominant out there for the most part. I know Hildebrand got on the podium, so good for him. And yeah, I know it was an okay IndyCar race. It wasn't anything special because I know IndyCar kind of fucked up with the aero choice in the first place. They went with the low downforce set, which was just dumb, really. Given that Phoenix is a short oval, and you're never going to get good racing by doing that, just like last year in that regard. But yeah, I mean, given that. So yeah, I was going to say, given that, I thought I was going to say that. I was also trying to thought. Yeah, I mean, we're coming up to. I mean, you're in Europe season now in F1, and so Catalonia will give us a real good idea of where these cars are at. They test there. They know the track very well. They know what. Like, we're going to get a proper test to see how good these cars are at. Like, if Ferrari are truly a threat, if they can challenge for the win at Catalonia, then yeah, it's real. We'll have to wait and see how it goes, but I'm looking good. It's not worth a watch of the replay. Yeah, I might have to though, because we got to talk about it on the podcast next week, or not tomorrow, because We're taping episode 84 tomorrow. Talking about obviously that Grand Prix, talking about IndyCar. It's probably going to have a lengthy mailbag in it as well because God, there's not much to take away from those two races. Not really, which is kind of annoying because you've actually got a guest on for next week's episode. If all things go to plan, we'll have Helena Hicks on next week's show. So, shame there won't be much to talk about really, which is kind of a pain in the butt. But yeah, saw Marco's crash. That was a bummer. Tired. Oh yeah, it's Sauber getting Honda engines. Oh dick. Oh god, Jenna Fryer. I don't even want to talk about that woman on the podcast. I really don't because, like, everybody else has roasted her enough for that shitty IndyCar post she wrote about Fernando Alonso. But you know, we're so struggling for topics that it may have to come to that because it's just like I don't like giving emphasis to bad journalism, but sometimes you just kind of have to, really. I get it, but yeah, I'll watch the 30-minute highlights when they come out. It's a good shout, actually, RJ. But yeah, Marco crashing, Snapperman hit. Spatterman bit the deck, and I was not happy about that. Oh yeah, like the response was even shittier. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not even trying to pretend on that. Like the mea culpa she wrote up on that follow-up column was basically her just being a whiny, I'm victim blaming, basically. Like, oh, I'm the victim here when you wrote a shit piece in the first place. This is what it was. It was shit journalism. It was objectively wrong. It was wrong to the point where Michael Andretti had to correct himself. And then you wrote a reply basically doubling down on what you said with the worst examples used by comparison. And you didn't even read the criticism that was leveled against you, which was very valid and fair criticism from Mario Andretti and from Will Buxton, who came out and wrote a piece on Racer Magazine the other day. So Jenna Fry's a fucking idiot. Like I cannot put it any better than that. Like, she is an idiot and she's a bad journalist. Period. Is that. Like, that was just poor. You didn't even fact check your article. It's just terrible. Just ugh. Oh yeah, I did see the news this morning about Sauber getting Honda engines next year. It must be a money saving exercise, or Honda's flipping some of the bill to make it happen. There's like Sauber on performance alone would never go to Honda. They're going down the same dream that McLaren went with when they first started out. Like, McLaren is actually worse than what it was last year, and that is saying something. Like, McLaren was, you know, mediocre at best last year. I mean, in the middle of the field, but they were seeming to get back towards the levels they were at, you know, pre-Honda switch. They've actually gotten worse this year, and that's actually some achievement. I didn't think that was actually possible. But if Sauber are going, it's better that than Sauber go out of business. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't make it any more of a, you know, positive move by any stretch of the imagination. It's just one shit box, which was last year's Ferrari engines for another. It doesn't make Sauber's situation any better. In fact, it may arguably make it worse in the long run. But yeah, what can you say, really? Just got to kind of roll with it, I guess. You've got to give her credit for having a 13-year-old daughter being representative of all under 25s. Oh, Jesus Christ. Or in this case, Jeebus Crust. Very funny. What if Honda buy Sauber? Oh, God, no. Do we really want Honda back as a full-on factory the way they are right now? Full time. Tottenham beat Arsenal 2-0 in case you weren't paying attention. Oh, wow. So that means Tottenham will actually definitely finish above Arsenal now. Hang on. Bruh, they are. They are actually going to finish above Arsenal for the first time in 20 years. Oh dear, oh dear. The Earth livery. No, let's not bring that back. Like, Len's the only man that's allowed to complain on the Hangout chat because he also supports Leyton Orient. That kind of says it all, really. He's the only man that gets to complain. I mean, that pretty much puts Arsenal out of the top 4 race, realistically. That is kind of hilarious, actually. Congrats, Neil. Yeah, Tottenham deserve it too. Tottenham have been really good this year, so, you know, fair play to them. Oh, boy, Carl Walker. That happens to those Leicester guys. Let's not talk about Leicester. I shall celebrate by opening the fridge. But not with a Snapple. With strawberry Mirinda. These are also excellent. Evening, guys. Evening. Everybody in the chat. Yeah, like, after finding out today that Arsenal Fan TV is sponsored by The Sun, I hope Arsenal never finish in the top 4 again. I don't wish any positive will towards Arsenal whatsoever. Oh, dear. Opinion on the race, Total Gamer? It was shit. It was a shit Grand Prix with a decent finish. The first 40 laps of that Grand Prix was the worst I've ever seen for a modern era race. But that's just what F1 is now, sometimes. The only thing completing like the era of fail would be if Watford beat Liverpool tomorrow on Monday Night Football. That would be quite funny, actually. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, Game of Thrones advert. Yeah, if you're a Sky customer, they have seasons 1 to 6 of Game of Thrones on like the Skybox Sets app tomorrow. Whoop, camera's gone. One second. There we go. Cord was a bit loose there. Sorry about that. Oh dear. Don't play this. Oh yeah. Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah. Can't go through the chat. Oh God, Germany 2016 was real bad as well, Tyler. That I remember. That Germany last year was all sorts of awful. Oh dear. Why am I not surprised, Miles, you've got seasons 1 to 6 on Blu-ray? That is so you. Dre, did you follow it? If so, what did you think of the NFL draft? I wasn't following it that hard this year. So I don't watch college football, so I can't really evaluate talent like they do. But it was entertaining television. It made for great TV. Like seeing Mitch Trubisky get drafted second overall, having the Bears move up for him, and then having the Bears fans in attendance at the draft party going, "No, oh!" Because they didn't want a quarterback. They just paid Mike Glennon like $15 million a year to be their starter. So having that happen was inadvertently hilarious. Seeing the Bears trade up for a quarterback, which didn't really make sense to me at the time. It still doesn't make as much sense now. But yeah, it was entertaining. Like seeing the second round, seeing the Cowboys legend get booed by 90,000 Philadelphia Eagles fans was also fantastic television. But yeah. So yeah, besides that, meh for the draft, but the highlights were very highlighty. But yeah. Well done, Baku. Baku welcomed us, etc. Oh, God, let's not talk about Baku, please. Why? But yeah, ask me some stuff if you want as well. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind actually getting some guests in here, maybe, if it came down to it. Because, like, again, I chose the wrong day for a hangout, given there wasn't an awful lot to really talk about. But still. We'll wait and see. But, oh, God, Monaco is going to suck donkey dick. God, yeah, I completely agree. That is... Monaco is going to be single file pretty much all the way through, even more so with these wider cars. You can barely get 2 cars through turn 1 last year. But those are a good few inches wider this year, so... God. I don't even want to go there on that one. How much Snapple did I buy? A lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bottles? 2 kiwi strawberry, 2 mango, 1 apple? Yeah, 5. If we have to ask. But yeah, at least we have the Indy 500, I suppose. And the Grand Prix of Indy as well, which is in a couple of weeks' time. Trey, you could always watch NASCAR today. Shut up, Cameron. No. NASCAR. Who would you like to see in the next last R2 seats? Sebastian Vettel, Lewis Hamilton, maybe Max Verstappen as well. Sod it, why not, right? Jensen will be uber sadness, man, that day. How's the new shop treating me? A bunch of mouthy Indian dudes calling me a banjod, but besides that, pretty good. Shop to run, like it does about 60 bets a day. It's easy, and that's kind of the blessing of it, really. I just I kind of care about it a lot though, so I don't want to see it end up, being shit too. But at the same time, yeah, it's been fine. It's been fine. I've not had any major problems yet. I'm just trying to work on improving it in the back and getting a decent young shop team going, and just dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's for the most part, just trying to make that work. So, yeah, nothing crazy, but it's been fun. It's been fun. Mm-hmm. So I'm still tweeting a little bit as well. We could get Michael versus Joss if Max went at least. Who's going to win the snooker? Probably Mark Selby. Like, I must admit, I kind of like the final we got in the end with Higgins and Selby, because I don't want to sound too sports journalism right now, but it actually is quite an intriguing case of trying to define people's legacies. Like, if Selby wins his third and his second in a row, he's one of the best players of all time now. And he probably already is, to be fair, but like that would cement him as a top-tier Hall of Fame level snooker player, probably top 10 all time. Higgins wins his fifth. He's level with O'Sullivan, and Higgins has probably been like the most underlooked man in snooker for the last 5 or 6 years. He's still always been in and around the top 16, but he's never had enough to win any proper majors. But like Higgins going for number 5 would probably cement him as like the fourth man of Mount Rushmore compared to Steve Davis, Stephen Hendry, and Ronnie O'Sullivan in whatever order you think those three probably belong. But Higgins, no one talks about the fact that Higgins has got 4 world titles. It's crazy. But I hope Higgins gets it, because honestly, don't tell certain people this on Twitter, but I do find Mark Selby boring. I just do. Like he's a nice guy and he's funny, but I just don't feel comfortable rooting for him. It's just, but probably because he's just that good. But I would rather see Higgins win, because like Higgins getting one last title would be a nice story. But we'll have to wait and see. But that's okay. Yeah. Comparing F1 to football is silly. I saw that on Twitter. It's like football is inherently different because football matches don't feel as special. There's 380 Premier League games. There's 20 F1 races. Like, in a vacuum, an F1 race is going to be more special to a Formula 1 fan than a football game is to most people. Like, and trust me, fans do complain at nil-nillers. I support Manchester United. Like, we've been criticised as being boring all season long for not scoring enough goals, given our talent and given the players we have. So fans do complain about excitement levels in football too. It's a silly comparison. We're spitting image to make you interesting. Very true, Zoe. God, Zoe's showing her age with a spitting image reference. Wow. Yeah. But yeah, like, depends on where you go for your games, I guess, Miles, as well, because some F1 races are a lot more expensive than football games. The problem is in a weekly, like if you went to every Formula One game or every Formula One race over a season, I don't think the price difference would be all that big between going to 38 football games. Because there's 2 or 3 races in different kind that are stupidly expensive that are like £400-500 each. Like Silverstone is £400-500. That's like 5 normal races in its own right. So I'm not even going from the price point standpoint because F1 had Germany and Britain on the calendar, which were ludicrously expensive most of the time anyway. Like every F1 race is kind of its own vacuum because sometimes the promoters flip the bill, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they pass the savings on to the fans, sometimes they don't. So I'm not even attacking it from a money standpoint. The money is like mediocre to me on that front. Like, I'm not even going by the money point. Like, I didn't even realize Canada was that. Like, I didn't realize Canada was that pricey. $300 a ticket for Canada? Shit. Canada's one of the better ones on the calendar, and that's Canadian dollars, but still. Let me have a quick Google search, real quick. It's £170. That's not cheap. That's like 2 and a bit football games. Like. So I'm not going to pretend like Canada's like dirt cheap because it isn't. Like I said, the money standpoint, F1's not really got a leg to stand on because we as fans have complained about Silverstone's tickets for years. So we can't really talk on that one either. The cheap races on the calendar, from what I can tell, Vic, are Malaysia and I think Hungary's pretty dirt cheap. Austria's pretty cheap because Red Bull pays, so Red Bull don't charge through the nose for their fans, but you know, it's like Canada. It's like Canada knows they're one of the more marquee tracks on the calendar, so they're going to charge like it. When Formula E is going to have a $150 base ticket to go to the weekend for New York later this year, it kind of says it all, really, doesn't it? And yet, for all the complaints about Silverstone's ticket prices, they still get $140,000 every year. So, how much can you really complain about something when you've paid for it? Cheap, but people are willing to pay for it. I mean, half a dozen of us on F1 Twitter are going to Silverstone this year, like Nino and Josie and God, like Arav and all those dudes are going to Silverstone this year because, you know, friends and friendship and all that shit. So, people are willing to pay for it. You know. Yeah, you know, I know F1 is not going to be. I know F1 is going to be a stall sport. I mean, F1. We've all complained about being a rich white man sport forever, so of course it's going to charge through the nose for its tickets. It's hardly surprising now, is it? No, I can't either, Miles. Like I can't. Like, listen, I know, I get it's nice and convenient that Silverstone now has a finance plan to help you get tickets, but let's weigh this up. It has a finance plan to purchase tickets off of. What kind of ridiculousness is that? Where a venue is like, hey, okay, we know our prices are so expensive that we're going to release a finance plan to spread out the cost. That kind of says it all, really. Like. And it's not even so much like a Silverstone thing. The MotoGP tickets are cheaper. The MotoGP, I know, is £72 for the weekend. Like, MotoGP is not cheap for that at Silverstone. Like, it's not that bad over there. But the F1 tickets are ludicrous. It's like, okay, great, there's a mortgage plan. Other news, there's a mortgage plan. Like, holy shit. Oh, dear. Like, yeah, you're paying $150 for the weekend to sit on grass. 150. Yeah, I can't do it. I will never go to the British Grand Prix unless somebody else pays for my ticket. Out of principle, I'm not going to do it. One, because Silverstone is a shit facility, and I don't like it in the first place. It's a bitch to get to. It's a bitch for travel. Like, I don't like the fan bases in F1 as it is. If I was going to go to a Grand Prix, I'd go to somewhere. I'd probably go Belgium, because it's dirt cheap to fly over there too. Belgium or Hungary, one of those kind of Grand Prix. So, you know. There you go. General admission for race day for the 500, 31 quid. 31! 40 bucks! No wonder they get 250,000 in for the Indy 500. Fucking hell, man. Kind of says it all, really, doesn't it? I could do Le Mans one day, but I have like no interest in the WEC whatsoever. So, like, I'm not a big GT racing fan either. So I haven't really got a big reason to go outside of the fact, oh, it's Le Mans. Like, is that really a good enough reason for a guy that isn't that interested in endurance racing anymore? Probably not. But I do want to do more sporting events in general, though. I'm definitely going to the Masters for snooker next year. Like in January, I'm going to the Masters at the Ali Pali. That's for dead certain. I will try and get at least a quarterfinal ticket to the Masters. I want to try and do the ATP tennis at the O2. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be pretty cool. And I'd like to do more superbike rounds in this country as well. I'd like to, you know, do more. I mean, I was at Brands last week for British Superbikes round 2 over there for BSB. I'd like to do a MotoGP round at some point, but there's anyone who got a Silverstone really, unless I feel like going to Spain, and I don't feel like going to Spain. So, you know, like Brno might actually be doable. Like some people was talking to me about doing Brno or Valencia because MotoGP tickets are really cheap for the most part. Well, I'll definitely just, like, now I've got a decent job and now I actually want to do more shit. And, you know, like, I know Race Car Twitter is planning a big thing with a 500 next year. I'm probably not going to go because reasons. I won't get into it here, but, yeah, it's getting kind of disjointed on Twitter right now. But I'm not, like, let's put it this way. I struggle to get along with certain people in this space as it is, but then me dropping the best part of $2,000 to go to Indy to possibly be in a house with those same people, probably wouldn't enjoy it. So, have to wait and see. Yeah, we're doing good with Zoe, that's for sure. Absolutely. God damn, yes. Hey. Hi, Toki. Nice to see you, mate. But yeah, like, people are begging for me to go to Indy next year, and it's like, I'm kind of on the fence. Like, that is a lot of money. I'd have to be saving money from now for next year's 500 to make it work. Who knows? I might go by myself one day. I don't know. But, yeah. No, trust me, Vic, it's definitely not you. I'm not gonna go into it in too much detail, but I've always, like, the idea of going on flights to the US already scares the shit out of me enough, let alone the fact that, like I said, I'm kind of a distant figure in terms of RCT as it stands right now. I'm taking myself away from that space more than being more inclusive in it now as time goes on, really. And that's probably for the best for my own mental health, to say the least. But, yeah. Have to wait and see. I'll wait and see again. I'm still kind of on the fence about it. Let's wait and see how that goes. Just checking my timeline as well. Sorry, just scroll my timeline for a second, guys. Paddock Rooney's 150. Not bad. Yeah. Having mercy on my fridge for once. Good man. I've done Brand, Silverstone, and Alton Park in the UK. I wouldn't mind doing Alton Park at some point. Like, Alton Park is a beautiful looking circuit. It really is. And they got British Superbikes down there this weekend. It's a lovely looking place. I'd love to do it. I know it's in Chester. I wouldn't mind doing that at some point. Johnson and you know, yeah. Take care, Tom. Thanks for joining, mate. Yes, that is Kendra's purple wig in the background. I was wearing this during the Grand Prix for about 50 odd laps or so. It was it's colourful to say the least. I'm not going to put it on because I know someone is going to screenshot it. And I've said it on Twitter. If anyone tags me in a screenshot, I'm blocking them on site. But yeah, you know, that was fun. Didn't like honestly. Like I was actually like I kind of played along with the joke last time I had that happen to me. And I did a Google Hangout, but I was seething with rage after that because yeah, a couple of people took it way too fucking far. Like, oh look, when someone's busting a nut, it's like yeah, just fuck that. No thanks. But yeah, yeah, driving. I can't drive yet, Lee, and that's part of the problem. I'm tempted to learn how to drive, but considering I live in West London, it's like, do I really need to put money down for? Do I really need to learn how to drive? Like, probably not. So, you know, I'm kind of on the fence with that, really. It's like, do I want to drop all that money on driving lessons, a car, insurance, and then the general cost of running said car when my workplace is 20 minutes away on the bus? And most William Hills that I would have to work in are within 1 or 2 buses of me. It's just not a convenient thing in my life, really. Like, if I had a car, what would I use it for? Like, not much. Like, it would be sitting in my mum's drive just gathering dust, so I would probably never use it. Parking in Haystown is a bastard. Car money equals helmet and Funko money. Like, I openly admit there's a grand's worth of mini helmets on top of my wardrobe as we speak, but you know, I have no real use for a car. Like, I can't justify it when my workplace is 20 minutes away. Like, and then I got like, and parking in Haystown is a bastard. So. Exactly. So I'm in the same boat as you, Miles. Like living in London. Like London is like London's like public transport is genuinely really good. Like for the most part, Oyster cards and trains are you know, relatively affordable, and like I actually have I have a travel card that what my job gives me, which like the travel card I get, like they take £47 a month out of my paycheck, but it's zones 1 to 6 infinite travel. So buses, trains, even regional trains from like Southwest that goes to another part of London. I can get all of them for free. Ticket barrier. So whenever I want to go to Brands Hatch, for example, and they can get off at the Swanley train station, it's all free. So again, it's even less of a reason for me to have a car because they just take 50 quid out of my paycheck every month to cover my Oyster card. So I don't need to learn to drive. I just don't. So you know, I'm not sure whether it's going to be worth it or not. Like again, I'll think about it. Like if I ever move out of London, like I might just take my test and get a license so I can actually drive a car. Like having the flexibility just to have a driver's license and then just say, okay, if I need to drive, I can drive somewhere. And maybe not necessarily get a car or get insurance, but just having the option to be able to drive a car is probably quite nice. So I might just take lessons and then take a test and have the license itself. Use my mum's car when I need to use it, or something like that. But I haven't got a reason to own a car or or spend thousands of pounds on insurance because I'm 24 and young and shit. So Hi Alex, nice to see you. Mm-hmm. The thing is nice and all, but it's just really out London. So I don't really need to know how to drive. If I wanted to go to Central, I'm paying 11 quid to get into Central London as well. So fuck it, it's stupidly expensive. Yeah, I might just get the license and then just hold on to it until I might actually need a car, but I don't need a car right now. I just don't. So I'm gonna have to embrace that, really. But yeah, let's have a look here. The funny thing is that Eamons mentioned in jobs and whatnot, but if I act, because I'm a shop manager right now, if I ever wanted to become the next level up at William Hill is being a BPM, which is a business performance manager. It means you're basically running 8 shops at the same time. If I ever wanted to get that job, having a driver's license is a requirement because you're expected to drive from shop to shop. So that's another thing that's kind of swaying in favor. Like if I want to progress further within the company, I'd have to get a car. Or yeah, because again, they want you to drive. And like the only exception is if you live in central London, and I don't. I live in West London, so I'm quite far out from that. Miles, you think 8 shops is bad? Under the old district system, it used to be 26. That structure changed in January of this year, where instead of like running, like they were called district operations managers, where they were running 26 shops at the same time. Like they had a restructuring, so there's now, instead of there being 100 DOMs, there's now like 350 or so business performance managers that are running 8 shops at a time. So it's a little bit more carnage based like that, but like I talk to BPMs all the time. They are busy as all hell. Like they'll take 15 phone calls every hour. It's mental having to run that many shops. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, they used to run 26 shops from one little office above a bigger shop. Like I don't know if you guys know what's on, but there's a big William Hill in Uxbridge, and they have an office above there where that's where they do everything: line meetings, disciplinaries, job interviews, all of that. One office, and they have to bounce between 26 different shops. It's mental. I don't know what the pay jump is. I really don't, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But yeah, they used to run 26 at a time. I don't even know how much BPMs get paid. I hope it's at least 30 grand, because anything less than that would not be worth it for me. Like, I'm going to be real with you, as a manager, I'm making about 19 and a half now. That's my salary, because I'm no longer on a wage, I'm on a salary now. It's nuts, and that salary pays about 19 and a half K. So I'm actually making pretty good money for a 24-year-old. I mean, I don't even pay that much more to live in this house. So it's nice. Like I can start thinking about, my future and whatnot, like what I want to do. Do I want to own a car? I can think about more holidays. I can think about, you know, bigger things, you know, life things, rather than just going, oh, that PS4 game looks nice. You know, it's quite cool. Morgan, having moved up the ladder at your work, do you feel that going to uni was worth it? It's like, this degree did not get me this job. Actor, I'll say that much, because the guy that interviewed me, a guy called Kieran, who was a manager at he's now a BPM himself, back in Hanger Lane and back over there, that side in Acton. Like, he said to me that, you know, he asked me about the degree and some of my skills, because the funny thing about working at William Hill is that they have so many different departments and they have so many different areas and branching paths you could go into, that there's no reason why I couldn't be some sort of broadcaster for them, because they have their own TV channel. They have their own TV channel that they broadcast from, and they have actual physical faces on TV every day, like Leona Mayer, Pete Farries, Danny Jackson, who was a shop manager herself before she got the gig on William Hill TV. So if you want to go into HR, there's HR departments. If you want to go into marketing, there's marketing departments. There's, you know, like I said, there's HR, there's PR, there's engineering, there's technician stuff, there's broadcasters, there's journalism outfits for them, there's in-play traders. So if you want to be a trader, if you're good at numbers, you know how the stock market works, you know how to price things, price events, you can do that. So there is, you know, it's you know, like getting the foot in the door in a big company is nice. And yeah, I'm gonna be real with you, Vic. Like I'll go back to your comment in a minute, Vic. But yeah, like, was the degree worth it? I don't know. Who knows? Like, me, I'm leaning towards saying no, because like the education system in this country is fundamentally flawed. Because there's no guaranteed job on the way out of university, because we've all got degrees now. We've all got degrees. You don't stand out anymore. You don't have 5-10 years experience anymore. No one's taking a chance on hiring 19, 20-year-olds or 22-year-olds coming out of university anymore. And in the world of journalism, on an entry level, you're expected to work for free. And that's probably not a healthy industry standard as it is. And I've been offered to write for Formula One sites at least half a dozen times, but I've said no, because I don't want to work for free. Like, I might as well just put shit on my own website and promote that rather than going on another outfit, because, like, I want to be paid for my time. It's like, it doesn't bother me so much now because I've got an actual job, but I don't believe in the standard that you get paid for exposure doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't. Like, money pays the bills. So for me, I don't like writing for other sites anymore. I used to, but not so much now. But yeah, yeah, getting the degrees like winning GPT, nothing guaranteed. Absolutely. But yeah, talking about managing this shit, yeah, I openly admit, Vic, 19K isn't great. And if I'm being real with you, there is a bonus scheme, but it's not big. And going to be real with you, the company restructured, and on the old system where the managers used to be getting paid anywhere between 24 and 30K. But because of the cutbacks the company's had lately, because two managers are doing the same job in a shop now, there's no shop manager and a deputy, they're now both the same role. They've taken the money out of the manager's salary to compensate for them paying everybody the living wage. So managers they used to be getting paid 28, 29, 30K, they're now getting paid 19K. It's a bummer, but it's still it's still decent for me in the context of my life. You get paid what you're given at the end of the day. I'm not saying it's great, but you've got to remember, there's 2,500 shops for William Hill in this country. That's 5,000 managers they've got to pay, roughly. That's the problem. There's no real getting around that. But But yeah, like I said, there's nice little company perks. There's a lot of bonuses if you're good at if as a winning manager, there's a lot of perks in it for you. Again, there's bonus schemes. There's bonuses if the company does well. There's bonuses if you pass your mystery shoppers and your AV tests, and if you get like perfect scores in your mystery shoppers, you get put into prize draws of things like iPads for other technical equipment. Like iPhones, iPads, days out, holidays, TVs, that sort of shit. So there's a lot of little extra perks that come with it that can make the quality of your life a little bit better. But the actual pay is not wonderful. I can't lie for a manager. But then again, it's an oversaturated business, so it's kind of natural. But, I mean, like I said, I pay. If I'm being real with you, I pay 300. I pay 300 a month in Port to live here. If I'm getting paid 19 grand a year, you can work out even after tax. You can even work out it's pretty comfortable living. The problem is that if I ever want to move out, I'm gonna have to move out of London, and that is a problem because, like, I've got to live on the fringes. I've got to move out of London altogether because buying a house here is impossible. When you're my sort of age, forget house prices, forget any of that shit. It's not the system that it was 30 years ago. And this sounds really boring to say because I'm being an adult here. But 30 years ago, you could walk into a bank and they give you, and if you could prove you were working and you could pay it back, they just give you a mortgage and you could buy a house. They encourage you to get on the property ladder from a young age. Now, house prices have gotten so high, especially in London, and they're building all these unaffordable flats around here, that how am I ever going to get on the property ladder? Like, you need, like most banks are going to want, like, a 20% deposit up front. That could be 50, 60 grand. What 25-year-old has got 50 or 60,000 sitting in their bank account? Not going to happen. It's impossible. And I don't want to go down the renting road either, because renting is, you don't own anything. You're paying somebody else's bills every month. And like, my auntie's been renting for like 40 odd years in central London, and like she's like 60 odd now, and she's had the sad realization that, yeah, I'm not gonna own my house when I die. And that's brutal. That's friggin' brutal. But that's the system we live in now, where like the buy-to-let system has crippled everybody now. Like, if you've got 60 grand in your bank account now, what you do is you get a property, you rent it out, and let somebody else pay the mortgage on it for you. Welcome to life. You're absolutely right. The credit crunch crippled us, Miles. It really did. And it screwed over young people massively. Like, it's bonkers. Like, I'm really lucky to only be paying $300 a month here. I'm super lucky that I have a house, my family. I've got a lot of disposable income for that reason alone. But proper house, and I was paying the bills every month, I'll be neck deep. I wouldn't have much breathing room at all. And now Brexit means the pound means even less. But I mean, the credit crunch in a nutshell was basically the banks giving out a bunch of mortgages to families who couldn't afford to pay it back. And when they couldn't afford to pay it back, they had a house, and banks don't like selling houses. House prices all just collapsed, and the whole thing just fell on itself. That's how we are where we are now. And now house prices are frigging skyrocketing. I've lived in this house for 15 years, and it's worth 150 grand more than it was when we first got it. It's the nature of the beast. It's brutal, but welcome to Britain if you're a young person. We're cleaning up the old generation's mistakes. Yeah, one-bedroom flat in Feltham, 800 quid a month. I've seen studio flats that are going for 550 plus a month. Studio flats. Not even a bedroom. Like, basically one big fucking room. 600 a month in London. 150 quid a week. Like, if I was living in that studio flat, that would be like over half my monthly paycheck gone. Over half. Like a good 60%. And that wouldn't be taking other bills or food into account. That would be mental. Like, I'm lucky in that sense. I don't want to move out anytime soon, but I may not have a choice. Not pretty. But look, welcome to reality. Live in Hounslow. You're not far from me then, Vic, if you live in Hounslow. Yeah, Feltham is not nice. 800 quid a month is outrageous. Your rent is $650, Andrew. Jesus. And you're in Sheffield, aren't you? That's not an amazing part of town either. Jesus. But yeah. He's living in Walthamstow, East London. The houses aren't worth 500k. No, they're not. Like, it's nuts. It is absolutely nuts living in London, and you're not going to cope. There's nothing for you here, unless like if you're rich and you're coming here, you're gonna live a great life. But if you're someone like me climbing up the ladder, it's like era now where like 10 years ago people my age had their own house already and they were paying their mortgage on it and they were going to one day own that house outright. Like I said, my mum's mortgage is like 1,200 quid a month. 1,200. Like, that means you've got to be making like 15 grand a year after tax just to break even, and that doesn't even factor in your council tax, your water, your heating, your electric, your phone, your internet. You know, no fucking chance. Or at least build affordable fucking flats. Jesus Christ. But, yeah, welcome to London, I suppose. So, you know, I might just, like I said, and you're right as well then, like, if you go outside of London, it's fantastic. Like, Portsmouth, Birmingham, Brighton, Manchester, all so much cheaper than us. Like, one of my best friends is a girl called Roshana, and she lives in St Albans now. And she's paying like 300, like she's paying like 500 a month, but it's for a 3-bedroom house. It's nuts. You get so much more for your money up north. It's nuts. But I'm scared of going up there because I've never known that. Like, that's all I've ever known. I've never moved out of London. I've never lived out of London. I was born and raised in Wembley, and I moved to Southall when I was 10. So, you know, it's a scary thing. There you go. Andrew says in the chat, comparison, cost to buy the 1-bedroom flat I'm in now would be a 3-bedroom house in Sheffield. 3 bedrooms. It's nuts. Just brutal. But, yeah. But of course, and again, and Andrew makes another great point, not every uni is going to have the degree you want. You may have to move out of London to get somewhere else. And then you have to pay for a house. You have to pay for your degree. And student loans only go so far. They don't, like, student loans aren't anywhere near as big as they should be. And then you're coming out of uni, potentially 30 grand in debt. You don't want that either. Like, I know you only pay it back if you make more than 21,000 a year, but what's the point of a degree if you're making more than if you're not making 21,000 a year? Like, why would you have a degree? Stupid. So it's all one big massive cycle of bullshit. But you know, welcome to living in London, where 19k is not enough to be sustainable. Just a thought. Oh well, it happens. Like I said, we live in a country now where, you know, the last generation are keeping the young ones down, but that's just how it is, I suppose. Makes you miserable even thinking about it. You're doing a master's, you're 50K, and then you're going to be paying that back to your 55. Like, holy shit. You're doing a master's? Absolutely nuts. Yeah, well, it happens, I suppose. I just don't get how in this country, I just don't get that you should be encouraged for staying on your education. You should be encouraged to try and better yourself as a human being, or, you know, educate and learn more, and, you know, try and aspire for more. But you're actually pegged down and have the quality of your life compromised to a degree for doing well after you've got the degree that you wanted to get. It's absolute nonsense. Like, I was 17 in my last year of sixth form when David Cameron became Prime Minister, and he quite quickly lifted the cap on unis charging whatever the hell they wanted for degrees, where back then it was 3,300 a year. And that was a cap. So you didn't have to pay more than 10 grand to do a degree. And even that was reasonable. Like, now you're looking at 27, 28, 29, 30 grand. You're going to be people till you're 50, 55, 60 years old. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. But, you know, welcome to being a young person in this country. That's just what it is. I like to stay woke on these things, but what the biggest plan is, I'm probably going to put like money down for ISAs, and, you know, try and have my money build money, and then maybe one day buy a mortgage on a house. But that's not going to be until I'm at least 30. Like, it's sad when on my old job, a good friend of mine who was like 16 at the time was considering having a baby with a boyfriend because she knew that if they did, she'd be able to get a house on the council. Now, I'm not saying that is a justifiable reason to have a child, but what I am saying is that if people are thinking in that sort of way in this country, then that's alarming. Like, fine. One of my cashiers is a young dad. He's 21 and he's got a 7-month-old son. And that happens. And they're thinking in that way because they know the council will put the bill. And then, of course, we put them on TV, and we have people like saying, look at all these guys scrounging off the system. When that's not entirely the case. The system exists and has been extrapolated because the big guys don't pay enough corporation tax. You know, it goes on and on, but it's terrifying. But hey, Theresa May will fix it. We're going to have a strong country, strong Brexit. You know, we'll come out of here, we'll leave the EU, and everything will be just fine. I'm fucking terrified. And the Tories are going to win the general election by a landslide. Like, Labour ain't got shit. People are too disillusioned with Labour's infighting. Nobody else has enough influence. The Labour won't get enough seats to form a coalition, even with the SNP. And the SNP ain't all that keen on Labour anymore because they just took their fucking country back, basically. UKIP are too disjointed, and they haven't got enough of a following to actually get seats. It's too sporadic, their support. And then the Green Party's not got enough voters, period. So the Tories are going to win. It's great. It's fantastic. I'm moving to Australia. Fuck it. So you're right. Like, Corbyn could offer like 3 puppies and hugs for everyone, and people still wouldn't vote for him because he's so radically to the left that for a party that has drifted more towards the middle in recent times. Like Labour is more like the soft right now than it is a true left-wing party. But oh god, I'm talking politics on a Google Hangout. Oh my god. Stick to sports, Stray. Stick to sports. Oh dear, oh dear. But you know, it's life. It's why Motorsport 101 is, you know, it's why you're right, the right-wing media doesn't help Corbyn either, but yeah, like it's why I've always said I don't stick to sports, because like you can always tie anything in life back to politics. That's just how the world is, and sadly, some of the world's problems, like an orange-powered Cheeto as president, and you know, a walking wet blank canvas in Theresa May as prime minister here, means you've got to talk about some of this shit. Unfortunately, like you can't keep it out of the conversation sometimes, and yeah, I've had a lot of critical emails and people, and you know, we don't stick to sports, but I get it. For some people, sports is seen as an escape, but I don't believe in that. Adulting with Trey. Revolution starts here. Oh dear, oh dear. It's come to this already, has it? It makes you miserable sometimes, but we got to talk about it. Like, that's how it starts. Yeah, like I've always said, like I don't know if anybody subscribed to Jonathan Pye on YouTube, but he sums it up better than I ever could, in the sense of, like, instead of being, again, the people on the left are just as bad in some cases, where they're so disillusioned with how they think life should be that we're not willing to actually sit down and talk to people. Instead, that we dismiss anything that the right comes out with, and that's part of the problem. Like, what happened to debate? What happened to sitting down and talking to people rather than banning newspapers? Now, like for example, like I've seen uni campuses like boycott the Sun, and I'm like, okay, you shouldn't, like, don't ban free press. That doesn't help anything. Like, shutting off a voice is not going to make your situation any better. Like, off those people on the far right, they'll vote against you because they think you're a dickhead. So, you know, sit down and talk to these people. Have televised debates, something that Theresa May is not willing to have, which is probably for good reason. But we don't talk about that because the right-wing media puts the kibosh on that, and that's part of the problem. I'm not saying the Sun and the Daily Mail aren't trash, but you know, banning them is not going to solve the problem. If anything, it's going to make the people that are more on the right think, well, these left guys don't know what they're fucking talking about. So it's not going to help either. I mean, I'm just like Jonathan in that. I'm a left-leaning liberal, and that just, you know, it's one of those things. You just got to kind of go in there. Absolutely, guys in the chat, I completely agree. If you don't like the paper, don't buy it. Don't ban it. Like, the free press is so important in this country. We like having a voice, even if it's a shitty one, is still better than not having one at all. Or the supposed censorship that so many people on the internet, they throw that word around to the point where it loses all meaning. Banning newspapers is censorship, and that is wrong. No one is making you. No one is making you read the Sun. Banning it is not going to solve any problems. I completely agree in that sense. Like if you don't like the Sun as a paper, and then trust me, there is many reasons not to like the Sun as a newspaper. But banning it, don't do that. Just don't buy the fucking paper. But hey, at least the French won't screw it up, right? Right? Oh dear, oh dear. Welcome to the world, guys. It's all positive and bright and, you know, sunshine and lollipops and all that good shit. It's all good. It's all good. Good God. But yeah, all I will say is that, you know, read what you want to read, believe what you want to believe, but support the free press, please. Like, don't ban newspapers and don't, like, if you don't want to buy the Sun, great, but buy a paper. Support journalism, please do, because we need it more than ever in today's world. We need freedom of press, and we need quality journalism to shine at the forefront again. And hey, if you don't like it, start a blog. Start a blog, get talking, have those conversations that people are not willing to have. If we can do it on this podcast, and talk about things that in motorsport that aren't necessarily motorsport related, and we've made a name for ourselves of that, they're fantastic. Don't ever be afraid to find your voice on these things. Don't be I don't do politics guy. Talk about it. You know, embrace debate. Like that's the healthiest way we're going to get along in society is to accept our differences and talk about it and find a compromise. That applies to most things in life, most friendships, most relationships, all of that good stuff. You know. Happy thoughts. Alonso test on the third. But yeah. Hope you're right, Miles. Hope you're right too, to be honest with you. Because Marine Le Pen, like, the last thing France need is more radical far-right shit, given what that country's had to go through in the last 2 years. Fucking 3 enormous terrorist attacks at least, and just a country where the problem in France is that they've got an entire young generation of people that are growing up far-right because of what they've seen around them. It's nuts. I don't believe in that shit, but again, censoring them is not going to help. Talk to them about it, but happy thoughts. Dre, watch much of the IPL this year? No. Listen, like I am a Bangalore supporter because of Chris Gale, and we've been very lucky to have, like, last year they made the final with Virat Kohli putting off one of the great individual seasons in sport that year, where he had like nearly 1,000 runs in the IPL in a T20 season, and he was unbelievable. But this year, Bangalore's been dog shit. They have been so bad this year. It's unbelievable how bad they've been. And God, yeah, like Kohli's had to carry them, and Gale has been shit, and AB de Villiers has been shit, and we lost KL Rahul, and he was really good last year. Watson sucks. It is miserable being a Bangalore fan in the IPL this year. It has been just, God. Bloody hell, I just saw that's also a quite terrifying thought. So no, I saw a minute ago. Valtteri Bottas today was the 107th Formula One race winner. Heikki Kovalainen was the 100th race winner in 2008. We've only had 7 new winners in the last 9 years of F1. Now, don't get me wrong. I know they're discounting people like Alonso and you know, like Hamilton, who came along a little bit later. But 7 new winners of Grand Prix in 9 years is terrifying. One of them was a one-time winner, and that was Pastor Maldonado. And right now, Bottas has 1 win to his name. Like, I remember through the middle of last season, you could go through a random F1 tape of, like, any F1 race between 1950 and now, and you'd have, like, a nearly 50% chance of it being a Hamilton or a Vettel win. That's terrifying numbers. ...2012. So too does Maxi Boy. Yeah, Max only has 1 win as well. Jeez. Yeah, Spain last year. Like, Ricciardo's, like, transcendent in this era, and Ricciardo's got, like, 4. Like, that's terrifying. Like Ricciardo is, like, universally seen as, like, a top 3 or 4 driver in the world, and he has 4 race wins in his career and 1 pole position. Like, F1 has become a sport of dominance so strong the 3rd best guy wouldn't even be a Hall of Very Gooder if he retired tomorrow. And Ricciardo has had 2 ridiculously good seasons in 2014 and 2016. And I think Ricciardo, if you put him in a Mercs right now, will be right up there with Hamilton. I really do. But that's crazy. That is crazy just how top-heavy the sport has become. And how now Vettel's kind of gotten a bit lucky he's got a second car that can win races. A lot of people only get the 1 dominant run. Hamilton's had arguably 3 or 4 years of being in the best car in F1. It's nuts. But that's how it is now. Yeah, good point, Nor. 50% hit rate between 2007 and 17. Nearly a 50-50 chance of it being a Vettel or a Hamilton win since 2007. And this is with a guy like Nico Rosberg, who has won 22 Grand Prix in 5 years. What can you say? It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Dre, if you were to replace F1 with any other motorsport, what sport and why? You cannot mention sports you're currently watching. I don't know, probably touring cars. Probably touring cars, if I'm honest. Because I do already watch a lot of bikes, so I watch a lot of cars. There's not that I actually don't watch, but I probably would go with touring cars if I had to choose. But yeah, as well, like, consider that since the win for Lotus in 2013, only 3 teams have won since then. Holy shit, you're right. Because 2013 was the year McLaren's wheels fell off. Yeah. Lotus won the first round. Raikkonen won the first Grand Prix of 2013 in Australia. And only Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes have won Grand Prix since then. Terrifying. Good Lord. IndyCar had 8 different winners last year, and that was a bad year for IndyCar. Because Pagenaud, I think, won 7 Grand Prix, and Will Power won, I think, 4 or 5. And that was a down year for IndyCar for racers. They had 8 different winners. Like, they had 9 the previous season. And they had a rookie win the 500, for Christ's sake. It's kind of bonkers. It's kind of nuts. I remember when Helena put up a tweet the other day saying, oh, it's great to see a different team win in Formula One. And I'm like, it's been these 3 teams at the top for like 7 years now. Like, it's been for some combination of Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes the last 7 years. since 2013, the sport has been dominated by 3 different teams, and Ferrari's not really dominated at any given point. We've had 1 dominance in purple, and even greater dominance by a team in silver, and Ferrari desperately trying to get their foot in the door since 2010, pretty much. And coming up short for the most part. Because they were short in 2010, they were short in 2012, they weren't there in 2014 or 15. 15, they only won 3 times in a season where Mercedes won 16. It's nuts. There you go. 9 different winners in 2015 and 12 different winners in 2014. Seeing downforce dudes plug themselves on my timeline. Not pretty. Uh, 11 in 2013. Yeah, so they average about 10 different winners a season. That's kind of nuts. Yeah, people will hate Vettel again if he starts dominating. Yeah, probably. I mean, they turned on him enough when, like, people, I think, were generally quite positive on Sebastian until, like, 2012. Like 2012, we were getting sick of his shit. Because he won his 3rd title, and it was like, but how good is he really? Like, he's got the best car. He's like, and that narrative started. Like, it was said, oh, he's got the best car. He's not a true champion. Fernando Alonso, he's the guy. And, you know, like, was Vettel killing TV ratings because people stopped watching, even though that's more a problem with F1 going towards more pay TV markets? Multi-21 didn't exactly help either, even though we as a sport hate team orders, but we hate the guy who breaks said team orders. F1 is a weird calculating space where we as fans are fickle as all hell. We just are. Like the story changes every time. It's bonkers. That's what it is. Like, saying there's a big 4 in the ATP is kind of funny right now because Federer is somewhat clinging on to dear life. Nadal has not been relevant outside of the Australian Open final in some time. Really, it's a big 2. And one of those big 2 is Novak, who has looked extra struggle-licious lately. Like, Andy Murray is favourite to win the French Open right now. And on clay. Kind of says it all, really. Like, people are backing in on Andy Murray. So, like, if Murray wins 2 or 3 more Grand Slams, we'll see if there's still a big 4. Because that's kind of a stretch. Weird. But, you know, how bad was it when Shimmy was winning? Coming from me, Charles, like, it was weird because I think a lot of people loved Michael Schumacher so much they didn't mind him winning all the time. The main person that was sick of it was Bernie, even though Ferrari were pretty much like gifted 2 titles because everybody else had shit reliability at the time. But I openly admit that, yeah, the Schumacher era was boring as shit too. But I was young growing up as an F1 fan back then. I was like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. We didn't mind Schumacher winning all the time. It was great. 2004, it was like my wet dream. It was like discovering porn. It was great. But yeah, I have to wait and see, I suppose. Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, yeah. You know, tennis is a crapshoot right now. All the big four look shaky. Side Serena, who won a Grand Slam while pregnant, is now probably going to be out for like the rest of the year minimum. But hey, Sharapova's back. Great. We all love her, don't we, with her marketing gigs and questionable drug habits. Watch, Sharapova might end up winning a Grand Slam again. I love to see how that reaction goes down. Because the rest of the women's game are all beating each other up right now, and there's no standout number 2 in women's tennis. Like even Kerber, a year ago when she became world number 1, she's slipping now. I thought Garbin Muguruza would have been the girl. Not yet. Not really come through yet. You know, Coco and all them, it's not quite coming together yet. Let's celebrate United going 25 games unbeaten. Yeah! There's like 12 draws in there, but still, woo! Very good point from Zubby, though, about mentioning, yeah, Michael had the advantage of coming back from rebuilding a marquee brand and coming back from a broken leg. Very, very true. Very good point there, Zoe. Very good point. Yeah, we could watch out for Konta. Definitely a good shout to watch out for Joe Konta. And Milos Raonic as well. Absolutely. Who doesn't love a big serve? Robbie up from Arsenal Fan TV at Spurs. Oh, it's begun. Okay, that's kind of funny. I started to see in the videos like Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV is surrounded by Spurs fans and armed police. To be fair, that's the house that Arsenal Fan TV built, so I can't say. True that. Oh well. Let's not even talk about Rory's ex. Oh, wasn't he Aki? Oh dear. Yeah, what's happened to Muguruza and what the fuck happened to Jeannie Bouchard? Like, I don't know. Ask Ryan King. Like, don't tell him I said this, but yeah, he used to have like the biggest crush on Eugenie Bouchard. So he's currently like devastated right now that Jeannie is not doing all that great. But hey, she's taking out fans on dates. So hey, that might be a positive in all this to take away, right? And I don't know about arrests on in that situation, Zoe. To be honest with you. Jeannie is too busy modeling and taking people on dates. Well, Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. What can you say? I mean, they're nice to look at, but the tennis game hasn't exactly worked out much better. Could very well be this generation's Kornikova. That's a very good shout, in all fairness. Could very well be. But hey, Jeannie, if you're around, just saying. Just saying. I can shave the head if it helps. I mean, really. Oh god, I'm not. Six of one, half a dozen of the other with Bouchard. She bottled that Wimbledon final. Oh god, yeah. I don't think Kornikova made it past the quarterfinal in any Grand Slam. I think she may have made a semi-final or something like that, but she was never. She never even played in a Grand Slam final. My man, I'm dead serious. Shoot your shot, Dre. I tried that. Ali Raceman doesn't return my calls. One day I will talk about what happened. I'll talk about the one time I did with a girl. I'll talk about that on the internet one day. One day I'll talk about that. She got to a semi more than fair enough. No, I'm going to dye my hair, Dre. I might do that. Who knows? I might just do that one day. I'm kind of tempted, to be honest. Part of me wants to do it, but it wouldn't have the greatest impact because I don't have particularly, good hair. But like Phillips Adobe or some shit. It's funny. But, one day. Story time with Dre. I'm not the storyteller on here. Like, I don't know what color I'd do it, to be honest, Toki. But oh dear. Like, if you want stories, like, follow people like Elizabeth Worth and Alex Lynn on Twitter and Sarah Connors. They have stories for days. Like, I am boring by comparison. I have no problem admitting that. I am boring as fuck compared to those guys. Charles, delete that tweet, please, mate. Fucking people. I said on Twitter, and I made it quite clear. I'm not taking screenshots, because I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to be really nice about that and say I'm not going to block you, but delete that shit now. Anyway. Grid Girls for good stories. Why are they plugging other people's podcasts on my show? It happened last week and all. I wasn't happy about that. Well, Celta Vigo versus Athletic Bilbao on Sky Sports right now. I've lost my Sky remote, so it's stuck on Sky Sports 2 or something, whatever. I'm gonna have some Spanish football. How about white background with a German flag? Oh my god. Yeah, you're all right, Zoe, I suppose. RJ was out here plugging both my main competitors' podcasts on last week's show right in front of my face. Only because you want to beat him in the IndyCar Fantasy League. I actually forgot who I picked in that as well. Hang on a minute. We'll find out in a sec. I don't care what you tell me, Andrew. I loved the days of designs because that became his thing. I think it's arguably just as great as having one consistent helmet design throughout your career. I think it's great that, you found a way to be more creative. Like, that's also a way of standing out that I thought was really cool. Just my thing. Well, I was above average. I scored 127 for the round, and the tiebreaker was really good. So, let's have a look here. Yeah, my team was Willpower, Helio Castroneves, J.R. Hildebrand, and Ryan Hunter-Ray. And I did pretty good. I saved $6 on my team as well, and I still actually did quite well. So where am I in the league right now? Let's have a look. If you want to join the Motorsport 101 / Grid Goals IndyCar Fantasy League, it's a league called Time to Race the Tweets. Go find it if you can. Callum had 150. Holy crap. I was the 5th highest scorer this week, which would be great if it wasn't for the fact that friggin' Brennan, Kissinger, and Matt were all better than me this week. The same score as me. King had the same score as me. Ah, for frig's sake. But I'm up to 6th place overall, though, which is nice. Nice. I got 127 this week. So I'm up to 6th overall now, behind Marco Zuba, Carla Fiorenzo, Charlie Regibal's now up to 3rd, Andrew Kissinger's 2nd, and King has now got a friggin' 40-point lead. King has got a 40-point friggin' lead. Holy crap. I'm going to stab him. I'm going to find King and kill him, painfully and slowly. Take care, Toki. But yeah, 127. I had a great week. It just wasn't as great as it could have been. That's all. The good news for you guys in the league, though, is that because King is a member. Oh, by the way, go to leagues, go to your league, and click the overall tab at the top, Vic, if you want to see the overall standards. But it's because King is a member of the podcast, he doesn't win the t-shirts. Positives. So as it stands right now, because Kissinger's a Patriot backer, he has a shirt. So right now, Charlie's got the shirt. So right now, Charlie's is in the shirt position right now, ahead of Carla by 2 points. King is apparently 4th overall in the world, which is bonkers. Like, if you win the overall contest over the entire season, you actually get a VIP experience for next year's Indy 500. Like, I think you get like a track drive, you get an executive box for the race, you get paddock walks, pit walks, all of that good shit. So yeah, you get a VIP experience at the Indy 500 if you win overall for 2018. I got to stab King for that. I can't believe he's 40 points clear on everybody. Bastard. But I'm into the top 10 now, though, which is kind of neat. I want to beat Cook and I want to beat Who Said Romo, to be real with you. Highest ranking grid girl is Liza, actually. 11th place, 440. Where's everybody else I know? Henry's 19th. Alex Lynn, 22nd. Next page. Connor is 26th. RJ's up to 32nd. He had a good round. Connors is up to 34th. Rhino GT4's on it. Lizzie's trying to be intentionally bad, which is why she's down at 49th. Like, Zoe's 46th. Catherine's 44. You guys are terrible at picking leagues. Only if you live in America, because of course you do, which is a pain in the fucking arse and bullshit. In other words, we don't want to pay for flights. The league site is fantasy.indycar.com, Toki. Trust me, Vic, being only 3 points behind Lizzie is not a good thing. She's deliberately trying to lose. Like, being good is kind of contextual here. Whoops, camera's gone. There we go. Crazy, like Andrew Kissinger's like tiebreaker is 11.7 through 4 rounds. Just never picked the fucking Andretti. Useless bastards. Should not have picked Hunter Ray, damn it. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez, I'm tired. I think we'll go to about 8 o'clock and that'll be about it for me. Pretty tired. Why do you pick Marco every round, Zoe? Jesus. That's asking for trouble. Well, at least this time it wasn't a mechanical failure. Well, whatever helps you sleep at night, love. Because, like, I kind of want Marco to do well because of Snapple affiliation, but he's now being sponsored by beef jerky, so sod that shit. Just masochism at this point. You're just gonna have to accept that, love. It's Grand Prix of Indy. So I'm definitely picking Pagano next round because it's the Grand Prix of Indy and he always goes well there. A bit of a big Tildenbrand, though. Good job. League name is Time to Race the Tweets. Yeah, any last questions you want to ask? Let me know. Yes, I am jealous he gets a lorry's worth of Snapple at a time, Zoe. Of course I'm fucking jealous. It's not my problem. Well, actually, it is my problem, but still. It's annoying. Do you expect to see Fernando crash at any point during practice? Yes, he probably will. He's bound. Like if people like veterans like a Newgarden or a Castro Neves can spin out during Indy 500 practices, then there's no reason why Nando can't and won't. Listen, he's a fantastic driver, but he's gonna make mistakes. He's not used to. He's never driven an IndyCar before in his life. It's natural. Predictions for Spain? Probably Mercedes. I reckon Hamilton will win that one. At this point, Ferrari's number one aim should be to rough Mercedes up a bit. Get Vettel involved where he can split them maybe on a more regular basis. Try and pick off those first and seconds and see what you can get. But I'm not predicting race wins. Will I move to America? No. Because I think some of the things I don't like about here would be even more amplified in the US, like systematic racism and just being a black human being in America comes with problems. Like, don't get me wrong, the culture in a lot of the culture is great, but a lot of it is also completely terrible. And I'd love to go there on holiday. I wouldn't want to live there. Let's put it that way. And Trump, yeah, absolutely. You give me, man. Sorry, I'm not being quite so talkative. I'm just donating to a friend's charity campaign. A lot of energy on clicks. Give me a minute. Done. Right. But yeah, I think that will just about. I think that'll just about do it. More than anything else. Thanks for coming out. Do really appreciate it. Did a couple of hours. I think that was a pretty good knock. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Not as many views as I would have liked on this one, but hey, we're a small fun club here. And all that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, again, I'll try and find ways to fit these back in on a weekly basis again. And we've got to have something to fill the gap with no Top Gear and no Rebel Wars on TV right now. So I've got to fill the gap with something. And check out Motorsport 101 next week. We're going to be talking about, obviously, the Russian Grand Prix, IndyCar in Phoenix. And again, we'll have Helena Hicks on the podcast as well. So if you follow her on Twitter, she'll be in for a good time. I think it's going to be the first time she's ever done a podcast, which could be great, could be terrifying. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. And, of course, Bike Live. We're talking about BSB at Alton Park and World Superbikes at Assen as Jonathan Ray took another double in crazy circumstances in both races. Actually, were quite hairy in that regard. But let's talk about a lot of Superbikes to talk about there as well. But so, yeah, until then, I'll catch you guys later. Sayonara.